Wonder of the Wasteland, Chapter 9, Part 1. Adam lay awake for some length of time, waiting for Dismukes to return, but he did not come. Adam at length succumbed to drowsiness. It was Dismukes' call that awakened him. The sun had already tipped the eastern range rosy red, and all the open land lay fresh and colorful in the morning light. Adam felt no severe effects from his hard experience, except an inordinate hunger, which Dismukes was more disposed to appease. Still, he cautioned Adam not to eat too much. "Now, Wansfield, you must learn about burros," began Dismukes. "The burro is a most important part of your outfit. This desert would still be a blank waste, unknown to white man, if it had not been for those shaggy, lazy, lop-eared little donkeys. Whenever you get sore at one and feel inclined to kill him for some trick or other, just remember that you could not get along without him. Most burros are alike. They hang near camp, as you see mine, hoping they can steal a bit of something if you don't give it to them. They'll eat paper, or most anything except greasewood. They love paper off bacon. I had one once that ate my overalls. They never get homesick and seem contented in the most desolate places. I had a burro that was happy in Death Valley, which is the hellhole of this wasteland. Burros are seldom responsive to affection. They'll stand great abuse, never expect any thanks, always patient. They're usually easy to catch, but they must know you. The only way to catch them is to head them off. Then they stop. Young burros are easily broken and will follow others. They must be driven. Never knew but one that I could lead. Don't forget this. They have the most wonderful endurance, never stumble or fall, and can exist on practically nothing. When you turn them loose, they'll nibble around for a while and then stop and stand like rocks, never moving for hours and hours as if they were wrapped in prehistoric thought. In the morning, when you start off your day's travel, the burros are fresh and they drive fine. But in the afternoon, when they get tired, they think of tricks. They'll lie down, roll over on a pack, knock against a tree or a rock. They'll get together in a bunch and tangle the packs. When a burro intends to lie down, he humps his back and wiggles his tail. It's hard to get burros across streams. Scared of water. Strange, isn't that? I've had to carry my burros many a time. But they'll climb or go down the steepest, roughest mountain trail without fear. They can slide down a steep slope that a man will not stick on. Burros have more patience and good qualities, and also cussedness, than any other beasts. They pick out partners and stick together all the time. A big bunch of burros will pair off, regardless of sex. Never give each other up. They bray at night, an awful sound till you get used to it. Remember this quick. Some night when you're lifted out of a sleep by a terrible, unearthly roar, well, I guess that's an introduction to desert burros. It's all serious fact, Wansfield, as you'll learn. And to your cost, unless you remember. How singular for Adam to have the closing words of Dismukes reveal the absorbing interest of this simple and practical talk about burros. It amazed Adam to find that he had even been amused, ready to laugh. "I'll remember," he asserted with conviction. "I dare say you will," replied Dismukes, "but the idea is you must remember before you get into trouble, not after. I can't tell you when to know a burro is going to trick you. I'm just giving you facts as to the nature of burros in general. You must study and learn them yourself. A man could spend his life studying burros and then have lots to learn. Most prospectors lose half their time tracking their burros. It's trying to find burros that has cost many a desert man his life. And this is why, if you've chosen the desert to live in, you must learn the habits of the burro. He's the camel of this here Sahara. With that, the prospector appeared to have talked himself out for the present, and he devoted his efforts to a selection of parts of his outfit that manifestly he meant to turn over to Adam. At length, having made the selection to his satisfaction, he went out to wake up the burro Jenny. As he led Jenny into camp, all the other burros trooped along. "Watch me pack, and then you try your hand on Jenny," he said. Adam was all eyes while the prospector placed in position the old ragged pads of skins and blankets, and the pack saddles over them to be buckled carefully. It was all comparatively easy until it came to tying the pack on with a rope in what Desmukes called a hitch. However, after Desmukes had accomplished it on 3 of the other burros, Adam believed he could make a respectable showing. To this end, he began to pack Jenny, and did very well indeed till he got to the hitch, which was harder to tie than it looked. After several attempts, he did succeed, and during this procedure, Jenny stood with one long ear up and the other down, as if nothing on earth mattered to her. "Carry a canteen of water yourself," said Desmukes as he led Adam out from under the tree and pointed west. "See where that long, low, sharp ridge comes down to the desert? Well, that's 50 miles. Around that point lies a wide canyon. Indians live up that canyon. They are good people. Stay with them, work for them till you learn the desert. Now, as to getting there, go slow. Rest often in the shade of ironwoods like this one. Take a good rest during the middle of the day. As long as you sweat, you're in no danger, but if your skin gets dry, you need to get out of the sun and to drink. There are several springs along the base of this range. Chocolate Mountains, they're called. By keeping a sharp eye for patches of bright green brush, you'll see where the water is. And don't ever forget that water is the same as lifeblood." Adam nodded solemnly as he realized how the mere thought of thirst constricted his throat and revived there a semblance of the pain he had endured. "Go slow. Maybe it'll take 2 or 3 days to reach the Indians. By keeping that ridge in sight, you can't miss them." The next move of the prospector was to take Adam around on the other side of the tree and wave his hand at the expanse of desert. "Now follow me and get these landmarks in your mind. Behind us lies the Chocolate Range. You'll see it runs down almost southeast. That shiny black mountain standing by itself is Pilot Knob. It's near Yuma, as of course you remember. Now straight across from us, a few miles, lies a line of sand dunes. They run same way as the Chocolates, but they're low, can't be seen far. Do you make out a dim, gray, strange-looking range just over the top of them?" "Yes, I see that clearly. Looks like clouds," replied Adam. "That's Superstition Mountains. You'll hear queer stories about them. Most prospectors are feared to go there, though it's said Peg Leg Smith's lost gold mine is somewhere in there. The Indians think the range is haunted, and everyone who knows this desert will tell you how the Superstition Range changes somehow from time to time. It does change. Those mountains are giant sand dunes, and they change their shape with the shifting of the winds. That's a fact, but I'm not gainsaying how strange and weird they are, and I, for one, believe Peg Leg Smith did find gold there, but there's no water. And how can a man live without water? Well, to go on, that dim purple high range beyond the Superstition lies across the line of Mexico. Now looking round to the right of the Superstitions to the northwest, and you see how the desert slopes down and down on all sides to a pale, hazy valley that looks like a lake. It's the Salton Sink, below sea level, and it's death for a man to try to cross there at this season. It looks obscured and small, but it's really a whole desert in itself. In times gone by, the Colorado River has broken its banks while in flood and run back in there to fill that sink. Miles and miles of fresh water, which soon evaporated. It's a queer old earth. and this desert teaches much. Now look straight up the valley. The ragged high peak is San Jacinto, and the other high one further north is San Gorgonio, 200 miles from here. Prospectors call this one Grayback because it has the shape of a louse. These mountains are white with snow in the winter. Beyond them lies the Mojave Desert, an immense waste which hides Death Valley and its iron-walled mountains. Now coming back down the valley on this side, you see the Cottonwood Range, and it runs down to meet the Chocolates. There's a break in the range, and still farther down there's a break in the Chocolate Range, and there's where your canyon comes out. You'll climb the pass someday to get on top of the Chuckwalla Mountains, and from there you will see north to the Mojave and east to the Colorado, all stark, naked desert that seems to hit a man in the face. Well, I guess I've done my best for you. Adam could not for the moment safely trust himself to speak. The expanse of desert shone him, thus magnified into its true perspective, now stretched out with the nature of its distance and nudity strikingly clear. It did seem to glare menace into Adam's face. It made him tremble, yet there was fascination in the luring, deceitful superstition range, and a sublimity in the measureless sweep of the haze and purple slope leading to the north to the great peaks, and a compelling beckoning urge in the mystery and unknown that seemed to abide beyond the bronze ridge which marked Adam's objective point. "I'll never forget your kindness," said Adam finally, turning to Dismukes. The prospector shook hands with him, and his grip was something to endure. "Kindness is nothing. I owed you what a man owes to himself. But don't forget anything I told you." "I never will," replied Adam. "Will you let me pay you for the burro and outfit?" Adam made this request hesitatingly because he did not know the law of the desert and he did not want to offer what might be an offense. "Sure you got plenty of money?" queried Dismukes gruffly. "Indeed I have," rejoined Adam eagerly. "Well, then I'll take what the burro and the grub cost." He named a sum that appeared very small to Adam, and receiving the money in his horny hands, he carefully deposited it in a greasy buckskin sack. "Once, Phil, maybe meet again," he said in farewell. "Good luck and goodbye, don't forget." "Goodbye," returned Adam, unable to say more. With a whoop at the 4 burros and a slap on the haunch of one of them, Dismukes started them southward. They trotted ahead with packs bobbing and wagging. What giant strides Dismukes took. He seemed the incarnation of dogged strength of manhood, yet something ludicrous clung about him in his powerful action as well as in his immense squat form. He did not look back. Adam slapped Jenny on the haunch and started her westward. The hour was still early morning. A rosy freshness of sunrise still slanted along the bronze slopes of the range, and here and there blossoms of the ocatilla shone red. The desert appeared to be a gently rising floor of gravel, sparsely decked with ironwood and mesquite, and an occasional cactus that, so far as Adam could see, did not harbor a living creature. The day did not seem to feel hot, but Adam knew from the rising heat veils that it was hot. Excitement governed his feelings. Actually, he was on the move with an outfit and every hope to escape possible pursuers, with the absolute surety of a hard yet wonderful existence staring him in the face. End of Chapter 9, Part 1.